everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to Entrepreneurial Edge, strengthening your identities and your boundaries. You know, this was supposed to be held on Facebook Live, and I had everything tested out yesterday. Facebook Live, Google Slides, and Zoom working perfectly. And today it's saying they're not connecting. So I switched over to Zoom. I don't know if anyone's going to get the message, so I'm going to record this and post it. So if you're watching this on a replay, please engage in the comments wherever you're watching it. You're probably going to be watching it via Facebook. So engage in the comments, and I will be getting back to you anytime. Doesn't matter when you watch this, 2026, okay? And I'm really excited to share this. So I am going to go ahead and record this. We did this this masterclass in person Wednesday night, and people found it very effective, and there were business owners attending. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, and I honestly can't wait. Okay, happy Friday. This is Entrepreneurial Edge, Strengthening Identities and Boundaries. It's a masterclass on self-management. Now, this is going to go a little quickly, but I want to assure you that if you want to work through these things a little deeper, there's something coming up in July. There's a 2-day workshop that you can work with me and a group online, and I'm really excited about that. So sit back, relax. I'm going to give you some information about this, this concept, about why I do what I do, and then tell you what's next. Let's go. Okay, first of all, my name is Katy. If I haven't met you, I'm the founder of Inside Door, whereas I do coaching and training for business owners, typically business owners who also have families and kids, and there's a lot going on. And also I train with organizations for staff and for clients. I am also a mom, number one, of course. Even my kids are adults now. I've worked in education for many years. I was a math teacher and did a lot of training, also professional development. I love being an entrepreneur. This is my second business. I used to own a hot yoga studio in Temecula, and I've become a coach and consultant due to all the work I've done, my own experience and education and background. I love to say I'm an adventurer, right? And if I'm not, hold me to that. I'm a yogini, forever yogini, a female yoga practitioner. I love vegan food, and I'm a self-development enthusiast. My entire life, I've been absorbed by self-development. So I'm going to start with a piece of wisdom. Now, one of my teachers, and if somebody strikes me in a way that I learned something profound, I call them one of my teachers. And this is Thich Nhat Hanh. He's no longer with us. He was a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. He's founded meditation centers like Deer Park Monastery in Southern California and all over and other places in the world, in France. I think it's called Plum Village. And he was training CEOs, and I'll never forget, he was explaining this concept, showing that we could work on how to manage your company. However, the best managers know how to manage themselves first, and then their family, and then their work. And it was so profound to me in that moment that if I'm going to be successful, if you're going to be successful, if any of us are going to manage, we've got to manage ourselves first. So often as parents, we want to manage what's going on with our kids, but we let ourselves go. Or as business owners, we're managing all the to-dos and all of the systems and all of the employees and all of the, marketing and where we're going. Maybe we're not managing our family so well. Maybe not managing ourselves, and our health is suffering. Well, the thing is, that business is never going to be as successful as it could be if you manage the manager. So it's our job to manage the manager, and that is you. So here we go. I'm going to talk about some issues around that. The purpose of this session, I'm going to move my little head here. The purpose of this session is to create identities and use them to determine what is most important. So often I hear, I don't know what to do. What should I do? I get it. I didn't know what to do either in many cases because I didn't know who I was. So once you know who you are, who you want to be in every situation, then it's easier. So we'll talk about that. Number two, We're going to talk about how to be more confident in your decisions. Again, sometimes it's really hard, back and forth and back and forth. And did I do the right thing? And going, it won't be as difficult when you're very clear on your identities. You'll have multiple identities, but you'll know how to determine what's the decision for right now. Okay, and that has to do with tapping into your, not your conscious, but your subconscious, your feelings too. All right, number 3, we're going to talk about how to determine your boundaries in triggering situations. All right, I think most people need this, right? We're triggered. And it'd be really nice if everybody else would just behave like we want them to, but that's out of our control. So we're going to determine our boundaries. All right? Okay, so if you're watching this on replay and you're ready to go, put in the comments, ready, 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 ready. All right, let's go. So why is this important? Well, you can measure your success by a checklist of all the things you get done during the day, but you might not be very fulfilled that way. Wouldn't you rather measure your success by your fulfillment? And how would you know what that is? Well, determine what it is you really want and then work towards those things. So you can seize the time to do what's most important to you. Okay, we'll talk about that. Also, by creating boundaries with your own identities, you stop depending on others to act and behave a certain way. Why can't they just, why can't my employee just do what I've told them to do? Why can't they figure this out? Okay. Why does my partner keep doing the same thing I've asked him not to? Right? Why? Right? Everybody outside of ourselves. But by creating boundaries with your identities, you're going to stop depending on them to make it okay for you. Okay. I even had a client once say, oh my gosh, I was realizing that I was trying to get everybody to act a certain way so I wouldn't be triggered. Right? That's what we do. We get mad because they're triggering us, right? But the trigger is coming from deeper place. All right. Third thing why it's important, this is important, is learning how to be the woman and the man you want to be and to manage yourself, right? To be that manager, that the top manager, the top level that knows how to manage themselves, not let their health go, how to manage their family, right? Not let that window of time slip away and that to affect future generations, right? Manage yourself. So you're going to learn to manage yourself. That's why this is so important. That's why I'm so passionate about this. Okay. So what are the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make? This is what I've seen. So I started off Inside Door as a consultant. People were asking me to help them with systems because I had a very successful business with systems in my hot yoga studio. And so it was easy to help. But here's what I saw. We're always searching for a better system. Okay, maybe not you, but maybe not always, but we can always be looking for, okay, maybe I need a better manager of my social media. Maybe I need a better way, like a better CMS. Maybe I need a better, thing. And that can be a pattern. Because if we're not managing ourselves, we're probably not going to manage that system very well either. This is not to boost me, but I have a master's in educational technology. And the first thing I remember learning was just because there's a tool doesn't make us more efficient to use it. Knowing what tools to use, but first you got to know yourself and you got to know, your business. So searching for a better system can be a distraction. It doesn't mean that it's always wrong, of course. All right, other things I've seen, big mistakes, are blaming other people, blaming your employees, blaming your partner in your business. If you're a couple, it's really easy to be like, wow, they didn't do, blame the other one. Even blaming your couple if you're not in business together, maybe, blaming your partner, blaming your kids. Blaming other people outside of ourselves is a big mistake, right? Because there's no control over that. But what we can do is we can create an appropriate response. And then not getting help is huge. I know for me, for many years, I didn't get help and didn't want to talk about what was really kind of scaring me. And investing in yourself is huge if you're an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, you are the asset, the biggest asset of your business. So why wouldn't you get help and invest with someone that's done this before and can help you navigate it, right? Or we just keep repeating the same patterns. All right, those are the three biggest mistakes that I have seen that I wanted to share. So what's next? Well, again, if we start with looking at these things, but really turning inward, okay, and what is this saying about ourselves? And working on that. Okay, so this is a bit of business coaching, but business coaching starts with coaching ourselves. Okay, so from the inside out. All right. So if you're watching this on replay, okay, or you're here, put in the chat or put in the comments, is it okay if I start by telling you why I do what I do, where I kind of my origin story, where this began? Is that okay? If it's okay, put in the comments, okay. Okay, 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 okay. Let's put in the comments. Okay. Really appreciate that. It also keeps you more engaged, right? If you're going to be watching this, rather than you're watching it and you're hopefully not driving or you're doing the dishes or something, just sit back and watch this and engage. And I guarantee you, you will learn a lot more. Okay. So I was asked by one of my coaches to find a picture in my phone that represented a moment where things changed for me, or where maybe I woke up to something. And this picture came up, and this picture was taken December 4th, 2019. This was 5.5 years ago. This moment was when my son was being awarded an entire full scholarship to college, any university he chose that had the Marine, I was from the Marine Corps. So the NROTC from the Marine Corps option, he got a full scholarship to college. And I was called ahead of time and said, we're going to give this to him at school. We want to let's get all his friends there. So his friends came in and were there to surprise him. I was there. It was just like I get chills thinking about it. What's behind this picture is that I I mean, it was the proudest moment a mom could have. Behind the scenes, my life was actually crumbling. We were actually living in a hotel at the time. We had had a fire, and we were displaced by that fire, and we had to go into a hotel. I was running a hot yoga studio. I was also substitute teaching to make extra money. I was scared about finances at the time, and I was holding down my home for my son, 17, and my daughter, 20, who was commuting to college at the time. My husband at the time was living 6.5 hours away, and he wasn't with us during this restoration period. And, I showed up to the surprise award for my son, and I didn't have much to wear, and I felt extremely insecure. I felt unsure of anything that was going on, but I was there and I smiled and I took pictures, and I think I was like almost like a bit of a walking supportive zombie, to be quite honest. So my biggest fear had always been that I'd be left behind. And here I was alone in this really big mess. The kids adapted, they went to school, they went to work, they went back to the hotel. And during this time, I actually had another flood in my business, in my studio. It was the fourth flood in 2 years. Restoration in my home, restoration in my business. It was a nightmare. And I didn't tell anyone what was going on. I wanted the business to keep going. I wanted my kids to be successful. And I certainly didn't know who I was in all of this. I had a serious lack of personal boundaries about my life and about the kids and the business, period. So, and behind the scenes too, what I wasn't facing was my marriage was really crumbling and dwindling. And fast forward 2 years later, the studio closed during COVID. We took a big hit in revenue. My mom was dying. And my husband visited one weekend to tell me in our kitchen that we should go our separate ways. Now, my biggest fear was here. I was all alone. I heard this voice inside my head that clearly said, move forward. Don't try to stop it this time. I knew I needed to make a change. So I grieved. I got support. I joined grief support groups, divorce support groups. I joined personal support groups. I learned to take care of myself. I worked my way through the divorce, telling myself clearly, like what I wanted in this divorce, what I wanted to have. And I started to get help. I started to talk about it to my family, my friends, my colleagues. And the help that was always there, but I was too scared to look imperfect. I was too scared to not look like this was a successful situation, business, family, personal. All of it was had slid way beyond healthy. Um, so I decided, I learned to start listening actually to my kids too and tell them what I thought. And I got curious, or sorry, and not just tell them what I thought, but listen to them, get curious, and be acceptant of what they were going through in their life. So they knew that, this was really who mom is, who mom wants to be. And I became the mom that I wanted to be. I wanted to be an accepted and connected mom. So I was single now. I was 54. Not everything was healed. I was in a job I didn't like. I was isolated working from home. So I started a consulting business on the side. I loved getting out and setting up systems for other business owners. I found it exciting, to get out in person and go into their businesses and help. And I also loved creating my own framework. So how to manage yourself first, then family, and then your business. So some of the business owners, really wanted quick fixes. I mean, we all do. We're trying to make money. There's a lot of stakes are high. So I didn't always, know how to tell them the truth. That honestly, they needed coaching from the inside. And at the time, some of them weren't that open to that. So I wanted to, sometimes they even wanted to quit the project because I felt like I know I could help them with the system, but it's just going to dissolve because of their mindset, because they're the ones that keep changing things and they're not following through. So I was still a bit in people pleasing mode, and I was worried about failure at that time. And I started facilitating group trainings and really getting into designing workshops for improvement. And next, I did what any secure woman would do, and I'm kidding. I left my full-time job and I turned everything I had experienced from the past 25, 30 years into my own program with a process, steps, and tools to help people, business owners and parents, manage themselves, their family, and their business in that order, as I did it myself. Now, over time, I learned to be alone and I found myself there. I created new identities. I'm a successful business parent mindset coach. I'm a healthy and adventurous woman. I'm a connected and accepted mom. And using these identities, changing my inner dialogue and breaking negative patterns, adapting self-care, creating boundaries, I was able to take action in my life. I became the woman I always wanted to be, and I'm continually becoming her. This is my son and myself just last month as he graduated from one of his, he's an officer now. My daughter is too. And, it's different. I feel very, very confident in who I am as a parent and who I am, who I want to be. So there's no more vital work for me to be doing in my life experience, education, and background than helping others do the same. Entrepreneurs who are parents have a huge role to play. We are the number one influencer for our kids. So knowing who we are and what we stand for is the first step if we want them to be the same. From there, we can impact our family. We can develop healthy communication and relationships. We can learn to manage our business from the inside out. So this is not only my business, it's my purpose. And I love helping others to manage from the inside out. Now, thank you for letting me share. I hope something there resonated with you. And let's talk about now the main stuff. Okay. First, creating your identities. The first questions to ask yourself. Okay, think of yourself like this beautiful diamond and you have so many facets, right? Well, who do you want to become? What do you want to be? Who do you need to be to solve a problem or change a pattern in your life? These are deeper questions that you can take some time with. So screenshot that or write them down and take some time. Who do you want to become? I know you're probably already a business owner, but what kind of a business owner do you want to be? Do you want to be a 10K a month business earner? Do you want to be a 6-7 figure business owner? Do you want to be as a parent? Do you want to be an acceptant parent? Do you want to be a listener? Right? So maybe you want to be, there's something part of you that wants to develop, you're a skydiver. These are really important things. If we don't answer these questions, resentment builds up, confusion builds up, And time management literally is not possible because we don't know what we want. How can we manage our time if we don't know what is the most important? Okay. Now, I wish we had more time and I could work with you one-on-one. But for now, look to answering those questions for yourself. And if you have a couple, put them in the comments. What are some of your identities? For me, I've given you some, right? A successful business mindset coach, a connected and acceptant mom. I want to be an adventurous, spontaneous woman. I have many, and I keep developing new ones, but I also have to go deeper sometimes to find out what they really are. Sometimes, we say, I want to make this much money, but a good question to ask yourself is why? Okay, so let's go on and to talk about why these are so important. Now, you can have goals and you can have identities, but they're different. So a goal could be, I want to make $10,000 this month. The identity is who is the type of person that could make $10,000 per month consistently. Okay, that would be an identity, something that you become, it doesn't happen once. This is who you are. Okay, now, so for the example could be, if the goal is to make $10,000, the identity is I'm a consistent 10,000K monthly earner. That's an identity. A goal could be, I want to use my planner to manage my time this month. Okay. But the identity, who's going to do that consistently? Could be, I'm a time management master. And when we have these identities, we want to repeat them and say, when we're struggling, instead of saying, oh God, I suck at time management. No, I'm a time management master, right? What would she do? What would he do? All right. Now, let's look at another one. A goal could be, I want my kids to open up to me. Now, I can't control that, but I can control who I'm going to be. So that identity is, who is the type of person that kids would open up to? And try to answer that for you. Who do you want to be? For me, for my goal of my kids to open up to me, I decided I wanted to become an acceptant and connected mom. I remember the day when I became her. I wasn't her. She was my future self, but that's the point. These identities are not about who you already are. If you already are these things, you don't have to create identities because you're already doing it. It's what you want to be. It's what's missing. It's what's maybe gnawing at your heart. It's what's making you sick to your stomach. Okay? And those things have to be addressed for you to be effective, all right, in your family, in your business. They start with you. So why goals may not be sustainable? Well, let's just say your goal is to lose weight, kind of generic, right? But you gain it back again because you don't become a healthy person. A healthy person will continue, right, on that path. That's an identity. The identities are in purple, right? So don't get mixed up. The goals are in orange. So if your goal is to go on a few hikes, if you go on a few hikes, but you stop after that because you don't become a hiker. So if you want to be like, I want to start hiking, then I am a hiker. Okay. Maybe the goal is to get an A on your law exam. You're in law school and you do. Great. But you stop your study routine because you don't become a lawyer. So even before you've passed the bar, right, you're telling yourself, I am a lawyer. You could literally be in high school and say, I'm a lawyer. If you're in high school and you're watching this, good for you. If your parents are watching this, you can, model this for your kids. I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor, and this will affect your decisions, your choices. So sometimes what happens though are these goals, the goals fail because we see ourselves in the old identity. We don't believe in a new one. If we don't define a new one. So define an identity for everything that's important to you. Now, identities drive your decisions. So when faced with decisions, ask the question, what would a consistent 10,000K, $10,000 monthly earner do? Okay, it's the end of the month. You got 5 more days. Do you go on vacation? Do you go away? Do you take a third extra day off for the week? Or do you make 10 extra phone calls, to get more clients? What would a time management master do? Oh, so if you're stuck and you're really frustrated with time management, what would a management master do? You can ask these questions of that part of you that you're becoming. And what would a connected and acceptant mom do? Now this one heals, right? This is mine, but you might have a different kind of parenting one you want. And instead of telling my kids what to do, I would go in and I'd ask a question and I would listen, and it changed everything. So identities will drive our decisions if we ask. We ask ourselves, what would they do? All right. If you're excited about this, put in the comments identities, the word identities, identities, identities. Don't forget to create identities. So our time management, again, is driven by our identity. It can be driven by our identities in a very successful way. If we don't define what's important, really all we have are a bunch of checklists, to-do lists, and priority boards. And probably every day we're still feeling like I didn't really get enough done. Because again, we're measuring our success by how we complete that list. But 80% of our time, if you're a business owner, you probably know this. This has been proven. If we want to be successful, it needs to be spent on the things that are important, right? And I'm going to call that the things that are reinforcing our identities because we've defined those. And disclaimer here, it doesn't matter what someone else thinks is important. It doesn't matter what another business owner, a partner, a friend, colleagues, people you admire, because they don't have your past, they don't have your life. So you have to define these yourself. All right. So if you spend 80% of your time doing things that are reinforcing your identities, that means they're important and they're urgent, meaning they've got to be done today or now, right? Maybe like right now. Those are the things that you do. Or if they're not urgent, you can plan to do them later. That's where your time is spent, 80%. If it's not important that you do it, but it's urgent, like your son has to be picked up from baseball at 5 p.m., that's urgent. He's got to be picked up, right? Maybe he's 12 years old. That's urgent. But do you have to do it? No. Your partner, an older brother or sister could do it. Now if you want to do it, it's like there's something like you need to see him and that is important, urgent for you. But if it's an everyday kind of thing, there's nothing going on that's out of the ordinary, you can delegate. So, but I always pick them up. It's just what I do. Okay, well, are you really edging up and getting the things done that you need to get done? I'm not saying you shouldn't pick your kids up from sports. It's just like consider, do you have to do it? Whatever it is, okay? Could an employee, maybe it's something like there's phone calls to make, maybe somebody else could make them, things like that. Okay, so a lot of the things we do tend to be things that someone else could do, so things that we don't need to do at all, or we could do later. And knowing our identities and referring to them is key for that. All right. I'm going to give you a scenario. Put it in the chat. Is it okay if I tell you about a client of mine? Put yes in the chat if it's okay. If I can share a story, short story about a client of mine. Put yes in the comments. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now we don't have time for this again. I mean, this is a master class. It's a short one. If you come to the workshop coming up, we'll go a little bit deeper, but mostly this would be something we could do in coaching to get real deep. Now, this amazing woman is a realtor, and she came to me, and one of her goals right away, top of her list of identities, was I want to be a top real estate earner. Her goal was to earn $250,000 a year. Her identity was, because we had worked through this, a top real estate earner. That's where she would fall. Sorry, top earning agent. The goal is to earn that 250K. Well, as we started getting into coaching and we went deeper as to why she wanted that, because here's the thing, it's great to have money goals, but if we don't know why we want it, we often um, we might give up. If we're really connected to the why we want that, it's different. Okay. So when we went deep into this, and it took us a session or two, we found out that deep down, she really wanted more time to do things and to connect with her daughter. And she was worried about her daughter. And working harder and making more money was a way for her to think, then I could take time off and connect with my daughter. Isn't that interesting? That's kind of how our mind works. But subconsciously, she was in pain. She was in deep pain over the situation. And realizing that that identity of being maybe a connected mom, or, there's a different word maybe she would have used, but that was actually in this middle circle. And remember, to be the best manager, we've got to manage from the inside out. So knowing that there was something deeper there for her, that's where we needed to start. So what happens is, again, these can be exciting, but these can be achievable and attainable and sustainable when we know where they're coming from within ourselves or what we're looking for within our family. So it was deep within herself that she wanted this connection. So I get almost get a little bit emotional because it really is. I mean, yeah, I know maybe you're like, Katie, this is like a business owner training. Yeah, absolutely it is. And if you're a business owner, right, you are the greatest asset. And what do you have? You got a whole lot of emotions to manage. You don't manage them actually, but to recognize you got a whole lot of conscious thoughts, subconscious things going on. And and if we're going to do this, right, we have to retrain our conscious mind so that we get a new subconscious, right, process going. I know that's deeper than we have time to go through, but that's why this is the way I want to share with you a little bit. Like when you work with me, we really focus on the deeper answers. All right. So we're going to not switch gears, but we're going to go into boundaries now. And this is the kind of second main topic after identities. Identities can define boundaries. So first of all, know who you want to be. Those are your identities. And then decide what's okay and what's not okay for you in the situation. And then state the boundary that you need to be in alignment with your identities. Okay, so know, decide, and state. All right, sounds really easy. I know it's not, but it's simple. It's just maybe not easy because it's going to involve some triggering emotions. Now, typically we're triggered, and it's because someone's behaving in a way, right? And then we don't like it. Or, it's bringing up something in us that's really uncomfortable. So the first thing is to understand that, okay, what am I feeling here? And to know, like, who do I want to be in the situation? What's okay, what's not okay? And then to be able to state the boundary that I need to be in alignment with my identities. If, again, these identities aren't just like an exercise that you do once. I mean, these are going to carry through in your life and everything you do all day. So let's look at some challenges, some gray areas. Pretty common for people where you might need a boundary. When you feel triggered, it means you might need a boundary. People pleasing, very, very common. I'd say 80% of us, people pleasing. Things like not feeling good enough, financial issues, attachment issues, right? Our boundaries get blurry because we're trying to please somebody else, or we're trying to prove ourselves. We have, financial issues are difficult because we want something, maybe we can't afford it, so we blur the boundary, we get it, maybe we need to keep working and create and sustain a certain level, but we have this boundary we don't really want to. We're not really clear on who we are, on what we really want. Attachment issues also. We're really needing somebody to fill our holes. Well, I'll get news for you, right? Do the work and you don't have any holes to fill. Okay, and then you can be that solid partner. All right. Oh, and old identities and habits. Don't forget about that, right? So we've lived this whole life. I'm 57. I have old identities and habits, and the only way, right, to really um, to get rid of those, right, is to create and reinforce the new ones. So let's do a case study. Okay. Now, this is a reminder that boundaries are for you. They're not for other people. I know most of us think, he needs boundaries, like, or this person has no boundaries and they're really annoying me and they should stop, doing this thing. And it's like, well, actually, you need the boundary. And you'll be fine once you get it. So here we go. And let's just say, okay, let's just agree that honestly, like you can't expect anybody to be act the way you'd like them to all the time, even your favorite people, right? So I used to think, well, if they're in my family or that's, my spouse or then everything should be fine. So I didn't even think about boundaries. But the truth is that's a trap, right? That lets you off the hook from feeling what you're supposed to be feeling, right? So here's a case study. So Jane's husband repeatedly told her moments before a family get together on his side that they needed to go to a family member's home. Usually she didn't have any set plans except that she was looking forward to the downtime. So she kind of felt obligated to go because she didn't really have any set plans. But she was getting resentful. And this is a woman that did group coaching in a group that I have this year. So we talked about it, and I asked her like, how did you feel in the situation? She's like really resentful. And the questions to ask are at the bottom here. Am I taking care of myself? How is this affecting me and others? You know, um, well, she wasn't taking care of herself because she wasn't following through and, really what she wanted to do was stay home, but she was doing what she didn't want to do, and that's not authentic. Okay. So it's affecting others because she's reinforcing this behavior for her husband, like everything's okay and she's resentful. And then probably she's not being as nice as she would be because she's kind of feeling resentful. So that affects others, it affects your kids, it affects everybody. So, this is a deeper topic, but we'll just keep this. I'm going to keep it simple as possible. So, yeah, I wish we had more time, but there's two identities here. She's a supportive wife. She wants to be a supportive wife, and she also wants to be a balanced and healthy woman. So, as a supportive wife, she wants to attend the events with her husband. As a balanced and healthy woman, she wants to be able to plan time for herself and preserve it. She wasn't doing that. So she was people pleasing, right? She was hurting herself to do it, which is what we do. So she came up with an idea that said, hey, I'm going to talk to him and say, hey, I really want to attend these events with you. It's important to me as a supportive wife. But I also want to take care of myself as a healthy woman. So I need a week's notice. Maybe she said 2 days notice, or maybe it was 5 days, but I need this much notice and then I'll go with you to clear my schedule or but if I have something planned for myself, I need to do that too. And it opened up a whole new part of her in conversation with her and her husband. And that's the becoming who I really am, who I really want to be, right? I think many of us can relate to this. So it's kind of exciting. So if you relate to this, put in the comments, I relate, I relate, I relate. Okay, remember, just engaging in the comments is, it really keeps you engaged in something. So, okay, so at this point, I'd like to share, like, what do you think and what do you feel about this? So also, if you want to share in the comments, what do you think about these ideas of identities and boundaries? What do you think? What do you feel? You can pause this if you want, and then put something in the comment. What do you think about identities? What do you feel? What do you feel about this? And now we're winding this up. I'm going to give you some information more about programs that I have. If that's okay with you? All right. I'm going to asking you, even if you're not here live, but if you're watching this on replay, put in the comments, yeah, it's okay with me. I'd like to share with you more about how I coach and what's coming up. Okay. All right, great. So Impact Coaching is my program. And I have a 3-month personalized program. We do an impact call and we create a plan for you. So you can go from overwhelm to clarity. And you learn to use tools that work to change your mindset, communication, habits, self-care routines, and actions. These tools are things that you'll use and use again. And so this is not, this is more than just coaching. It's a kind of a rewiring, but it's also learning to use tools that will keep working as you keep becoming that person. It's going to improve your relationships and impact your family, 100%. The best thing you can do to influence your kids is to become the best version of yourself, right? Become who you really want to be. And they often say, those of us that want our kids to be perfect, we really have a sense of inner unworthiness ourselves. That's really what's going on. So, if you're like, I'll focus on the kids, just kind of notice that. And then lastly, you're going to create success in your business, but from the inside out. Okay, from the inside out. Manage yourself, manage your family, manage your business through this coaching program. Exciting. All right, so what does this look like? I want to tell you what IMPACT stands for. I stands for identities. We go very deeply into working with identities and helping you create the ones that are really yours. Mindful language and listening, very important because our subconscious is on repeat until we change it, right? So we listen for things and we communicate differently from here on out. Breaking generational patterns from the past is huge, okay? And without a process to do this, it doesn't stop. If you see the same things happening in your life, there's a reason for that. So we work into that. A is for adopting self-care routines, okay? Not just yoga and massage, but things like on how we journal through these activities. There's specific activities, how we prioritize, how we prep, how we, there's 10, honestly, 10 facets to our self-care routines. And creating boundaries is huge at C. And then turning a negative mindset into positive action. These are the things that you will achieve through this coaching program. And it will change not only your life, but it will affect everyone around you. So who is it for? Well, business owners, 100%, parents for sure, organizations and teams do group coaching, professionals, even if you're not a business owner, professionals too, couples in business, excited about that. That's a very powerful place to be able to improve. And families can even use this. So if you have a family, it'll definitely impact your family. All right, what's next? Are you ready? Let's put in the comments. I am ready. Let's see what's next. Coming up. Well, first, join the Facebook group Inside Door Hub. And that's how to manage yourself, manage your relationships, manage your business. You can get there by, let me go back, scanning this QR code. Or if you search Inside Door Hub on Facebook, I have a Facebook group and I'm waiting for you to join. So please come on in. A lot of great tools, events happening every week now, and videos, tips, and group engagement. All right. On July 9th and 10th, coming up, super excited. We have a 2-day workshop coming up. If you want to go deeper and you feel overwhelmed, this is where we start. It's a 2-day workshop on your personal path to freedom for your family and your work life. Yes, you can have stability and freedom at the same time. So this is going to happen on a Wednesday, Thursday. It's 4 o'clock to 5:30 PST. It's going to be live on Zoom. The cost is $37, and you can bring a friend once you register for 10. So scan that QR code. It'll take you right to more information. And all this money goes to one of my favorite charities for this event, Mission Hope. And they help local families survive, get food, get housing. Coming soon, I have a couples in business coaching program. So if you're a couple in business and you can see now with this, how this could help not only you, but your partner, and then working together with their family and business. Oh my gosh, yes. Contact me for the details. You can DM me, you can email me, and I think that's probably easy for you to find me now. I'll give you my email at the end. Lastly, if you're ready to kind of have that impact call and you want to talk about coaching, go ahead, scan this code. Don't wait. There's no reason to wait if you know this is right for you. You can 100% do that workshop. Doesn't mean that that won't help, but this would get you going obviously faster on your personal program, and everything we do in the workshops you'd cover in your coaching. So go ahead and scan that for my calendar, make an appointment, and I'll be thrilled to meet with you. Once I see you've done that, I'm going to reach out and make sure that we're all set for that and get going. And literally, really just we can explore it. Okay, you can explore it. Be really exciting. So DM me as well if you want on Facebook Messenger or Instagram, and I'll get that. And lastly, almost last, okay, I'd like to ask a favor from this. If you have had a key takeaway, and I think I would hope everybody's had something kind of go, wow, okay. I'd like you to scan this QR code. I know this is like mad QR code scanning at this stage of this presentation. And you're going to come up to this Facebook post. Now, if you're not in the group, Inside Door Hub, it's going to have you join the group, okay? Join the group, you won't be sorry, and then you'll get to this post, okay? And I'd like you to put in the comments, like you see others have, what was your key takeaway from today, from this entrepreneurial edge? What was your key takeaway? And put that in the comments, and I'm going to comment back to you. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. This really helps me too. It helps me to know what stuck out with you, okay? What really helped you. And again, if you're not in the group, it'll have you join, and then you can answer that. All right, questions and answers. Now, if you are here live, then we can have some Q&A. If you are here, and I'm not going to include that in the recording. So I'm actually going to go back to the recording, sorry, into the screen share, and you can put any Q&A you have in the comments. And if you're kind of wondering, well, this is a lot of comments, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get all those comments and I can respond to you. So any questions you have, if you feel more comfortable doing it here, okay, in the Q&A where you're watching this, then go ahead and put them in the comments. You can pause this. All right, one more time. Overcome Overwhelm 2-day workshop online's coming up July 9th and 10th. Really excited. Scan that QR code, sign up. It's $37. All the proceeds go to Mission Hope. And you can bring a friend for 10. You're going to get an email with a code that you can bring your friend for $10. Okay, so you can't beat that. You're helping others as you're going to help yourself. And I can't wait to see you there. All right. Thank you for attending this masterclass, everybody. My name's Katy Olin. Once again, email me at info@insidedoor.net. On Facebook, I'm katy.olin1. LinkedIn, I'm katy-olin. And Instagram, katyolin1. Have a great day, and I look forward to talking to you soon.